Hello people of the world, today I'm taking you for a very special ride to show you what the real America looks like. Today I'm taking you through a countryside of the western Maryland. This is how real America looks like. And today we're fishing for a very special fish species, which is a smallmouth, native to North America. And nowhere else but on the countryside. I think it's important to show you that a special fishery of mine that I have discovered just by chance. As an immigrant myself, I feel conflicted about the whole idea native versus non-native species, but today is a really special one for you, which is a smallmouth that loves to live in the cold spring water and also shares its habitats with the invasive trout sometimes. So it's tackled in the woods of Western Maryland. And this place I usually come on like a weekends because I know there will be still no one fishing that spot because of how little that river is. It's one of the many tributaries of reservoirs that we have here in Maryland. And I was just hiking there randomly and have my little fishing collapsible rod with me, and I was just trying to see who lives up there, and unexpectedly I started catching fish there, and again coming back over and over, it was rewarding me with some quality smallmouth, which is like my favorite fish to eat, but I only try to take maybe one fish in a season from there just to make it special, a bit more special to me. But majority of the fishing there is catch and release because we want to preserve such fishery for generations to come. I don't know if ticks are invasive to this area, but invasive or not, you want to protect yourself from that, so always change your clothes because those ticks can be right on your skin and they can spread the Lyme disease. Hi everyone, I don't know if you've seen that, but that was actually a bald eagle. I was trying to film the little river that I'm going to fish in today, and it's my little secret, so don't tell anyone, alright? Let me show you the river again. It's really a tiny one that, like many, goes through some western Maryland land, and if you look at the map it might look like nothing. It's a little path, hiking trail that takes you to a wonderland. So as my thumbnail says, it is a really secret spot of mine. I would never disclose that. It's a little river and it might have a fish or two just for one person. And let me tell you a story how I found this place. So my wife likes hiking, and there's always a debate whether we go hiking or fishing, but I've learned to found a middle ground. That's why I was going for all these packable rods that I can just put in a hiking backpack. And look at this pine tree, beautiful, and this forest is just wonderful. So my wife had found this hiking also to kind of accommodate my fishing, how do you say, obsession. That's a good word, obsession. And so we come over here, we hike a little up the stream, maybe a mile or two, and boy, let me tell you, this have become my favorite spot. And I even come back here when she's not with me, because this is like a place that people usually wouldn't want to hike that further, and even if it's busy Saturday like today, I can still rely on coming over here and just enjoying myself in this solitude with the nature. And sometimes I catch something, sometimes I not. I will try to share some clips that I filmed before. And I was here with Philip already. We were fishing with the worms. I put him on his first fish of the season, and myself also sitting on the rock at the end. That is basically my stop for this place, and after that rock I usually make my way back. And I sat there the other day, check it out. Something nicer right there. Oh, he's just another of those minnows that I've been catching. I have to Google and see who they are. I think this one is creek chop. I think this one is creek chop. They really need that worm though. So I'm using a little tiny jig, but they don't want the jig. But once I put a piece of worm on it, that you can easily find flipping few logs. So let me flip a couple logs here. Maybe I can... Unexpected strike that lure can produce. That's that minnow type. So we've been catching two species here. This minnow kinda like fishy, and then the full fish. I wanna see if there's another one here. I'm sorry for a little segue. Let's come back to original video. People do use this trail with horses, and someone likes horse riding, someone likes hiking, someone likes fishing. And I caught a little fish there with the worms. I'm glad I had some worms because nothing else was really biting. This place for me is more of like a smallmouth fishery, and they actually occupy these ecosystem and they hide behind the rocks. And although I do have, you won't see it because it's raining and I put some rain jacket on, but I have a little sling bag on my back and I have like 3 tackle boxes. I really maybe need 2 lures, and you know, if that doesn't bite, I might have a bobber and like a little plastic. I do have too many lures even for this trip, so I'll just use a spinnerbait majority of the time. And if I lose 1 or 2 on a tree on the opposite side, because this river is so small, I might just lose a lure or 2 on a tree, maybe 1 in a rock. No one really breaks me off here. I'm using a very light 4-pound braid and maybe like a 6 or 8 pound leader, maybe 10. I don't really care. So yeah, the only reason I have all these lures because I have them. I love lures. Or really, you might need just 1 swim bait and like a couple inline spinners. That's all you need. But enough talking, it's been too much. Hope you enjoyed the scenery of the countryside with the music before this video began. This is really just to show that it's a land of simple people, and sometimes you have to go a bit further to find your secret spot, but also enjoy the ride meanwhile. Enjoy the conversation and the music and the scenery of some animals, domestic animals, and hopefully we'll hear some birds here chirping in the woods. So it's a wonderful day. Fishing just lets you excuse to get out, just be in the nature. Really anything better than that couch. So stay tuned, let's see and catch some fish. We came over to this little spring and let me show you a few things. You see how tiny this river looks like? You might never think it could have anything substantial, but you have to look. That's fishing, not catching, and you have to keep your expectation low, but that what gives you a reward at the end if you do end up catching something decent. So, like I was saying, look at this. Not much water this year in general. I really don't know why, not enough rain, but who knows. So any little puddle will concentrate fish here. So in a sense, it's easier to find fish when there's not much water. and every like corners here where a smallmouth can just ambush their prey. They usually hide behind rocks, and I really like just slowly rolling little inline spinner. But even if you don't catch anything, isn't this place beautiful and gorgeous? Look at this. Like, how much can you ask for? And even if it's raining, look, isn't that beauty? Even if you don't catch anything. If I do really want to catch something here, I would use worms. Like I would use a piece of worm and like a bobber. There's definitely a few species, smaller species, you know, that willing to bite. They're like my little hand size. But it's still fun, you know. Connects you with the nature. Shows you who lives here. Beautiful colors with this blue sky and everything. But let's get to another spot and see. Maybe we ended up catching something. This was our first stop. My whole point was just to show that don't skip him. If you see an interesting swirl, deeper water, just go for it. Give it a try, 1, 2, and then move on. Keep it moving. And maybe next stop will be something rewarding for you. So stay tuned. Let's keep it going. Don't even know what you could have done to tell you the truth. What a spot. I would start, like I said, even casting further away. The water is very low. It's really low water. Right there where I intended. Slowly rolling that inline spinner. Couple of rocks on this side. Alright. Right where I wanted it to be. Unfortunately, nothing there yet. These are cheap. You can get them on like Temu. Thousands. All those jig heads. I keep losing them. So let me tell you about this spot. I'm going back to inline spinner. When the water was a bit higher, even like this run, you see where you have like a faster water that dumps in like this a bit slower water. All these areas are actually good areas. And like I was saying, when the water was a bit higher, like this is a good spot. So don't overlook that. Always give it a cast or two, because you never know if there's like a little hole in between the rocks that fish is hiding. Like they love this. Like, so you see this rock and it gets a bit deeper over there. Perfect spot. So I'll be just casting like that, and you see I'm staying away. The camera is on 0.5, so it actually shows me closer to the water, I think, than I'm actually is, because you don't want fish to see you. And just keep working, the spot. And you don't know if underneath that rock is like, a hole that fish is staying at. It might look like nothing for you, but actually that might hold the fish. Okay. Oh, I had a really nice hit just now. You see, I spent like 4 or 5 casts and I had nothing, and then voila, if you bring in it like the proper speed, as proper location, he's not gonna strike it no more, because I think he got hooked, for a second. So he learned his lesson, or she. Did you see that? There was another one, and he was underneath this rock. So they keep hitting it, but it's just the way this river works is that they really have not much time to strike, and this little inline spinner, all it produces is just an instinct, and all they can do is just, strike it. And this is what I've seen with these birds, that dive in at fish. Like they have I think every 1 out of 10 casts, not casts, but strikes are successful for them. So probably same thing for the fish, They actually do more, I think, of the quantity than the quality of the strikes. But let me change this actually, and now I'm gonna cut this line off, the swivel I mean, and I'll just put a little swim bait over there. Like I previously said, I do like lures, but it's just a hobby of the lures. You really need just few. So I was interchanging between jerkbait, little crankbait. Sometimes lure does make a difference, and even in this particular river, I would fish a pool with 5 lures, but then just change it and get a strike. But I think what helping this trip, that down the road I will catch fish. So you see that rock, and underneath that, you can get a bit slower. That's where they like to hide. They have that swivel at the end. That's a perfect spot for the fish. Okay. So, tiny little hooks on this one. Let's see if they die, because they can be right behind that rock right there. I'll actually come back here with the inline spinner after I check this spot out. This spot is always really good for that big boulder. So always maybe look for those big boulders, and behind them is always deeper, a deeper pool. So again, I'll start working this spot from downstream up the stream, because if I do catch fish here, I don't want to spook the other ones. So I'll be just fan casting a little bit here, a little bit there, in the hope that there is a smallmouth. Also, it doesn't hurt to cast right behind where this water dumps in, because it can actually be a hole there, and the fish can stay in that kind of hole. So you never know. And I tried faster and slower retrieve and freezing and different cadence. But not, so let's just switch it. Washed off decks. This little river can be powerful, You never know. It looks like nothing at first glance, but there's been some rough times over here. Some, high water. So you never know. Just shallow here and underneath. So this little area is interesting. But fish does like this little puddle. So I'm gonna try again working this spot closer here. And using little swim bait. There's the flowers. There's more flowers. So I'm just gonna cast here. See if there's anyone is around up in the shallows. That's all been striking. This is these guys. you know, but this one did get it, so I'm gonna give him a quick release because he was so cooperative. Alright, that's his mama right there. That's something better. That's his mom. Strong. This rod, by the way, handles fish beautifully. It just bends all the way. I'm happy about this fish, but I think he spooked all of the other ones. But let me show you him. It's a nice chubby, beautiful smallmouth. Oop. I caught it on the line, so it didn't hit. Beauty. Look at this eye. Look how brown this is. Look at this beautiful eye of his. It's nice and healthy. Beautiful fish. It's just gorgeous. We're gonna give him a quick release after taking a picture. I think he was struck by eagle here too. You see? His marks from. So he's been around, but look at this beauty. This little team of swim bait already got me a couple fish. You know, no need to go expensive, no need for Daiwa $10 losing them, you know. This works just fine. Anything eats a little tiny fish. And by the way, I did cast it upstream this time, as you can all see. So my logic works, you know. I'm still trying not to spook every fish here. And this is the second nice one I've got. So just, you know, bring the point across. I'll go up the stream, of course, like I did before. But just, you know, keep casting and see if I can pull one or two. And again, I think sound does travel down the stream. And so therefore the idea of, you know, doing this. And I'll then switch lures too from this little swim bait for something bigger, you know, just to change the presentation and see maybe someone else would be willing to buy. So I spent another 5 minutes playing around retightening because I lost that little swim bait, but here's my next choice would be a little sort of crankbait. Let's see what that can produce for us. Happened, but I did had a really nice bass just swaddle on this little inline spinner right over there. Okay, there it is. That's it. I this is its second strike. Wow, this is like the best one for today. And I thought I actually ruined this spot. I actually stopped recording this because I thought this is it. Never gave up. Look at this one. Look at this one. That's like one of the biggest one I hooked up. I can't say caught because look, there's like a tree here. Look at this fish coming from this little river. Come, baby, come. I saw it had swaddle on me. Look at that fish. Look at this muddy little inline spinner has the job done. It's so massive that I can't even put this out. Let me wash it first. Let me give it a nice rinse in the water. So that definitely Look at that bass. It's a beauty. Hook this fish. What a beauty. Another mark here, I think from like a cloth. But look at that fish. Look how beautiful this is. It's like a half of my arm. This fish is just gorgeous. I mean, what a beauty from this little stream. But let it go. So I don't know if you guys learned something today, but here's a conclusion. Use different lures for one spot in places that have a limited amount of spots that can hold the fish. You should really fish this spots thoroughly by casting everywhere, because you don't know which rock might hold the fish and which lure might entice them. So like I fished this spot and I had 3 beautiful fish striking. I even stopped filming already by after putting that little inline spinner, because I thought I have ruined the place, and I was just like making sure that I fan cast like the whole entire pool. And it's not about the lure, I think it's about changing it and also giving it a different speed and presentation to the fish. So because I knew that this is a high potential spot, and like around all the rivers fish, like in this entire ecosystem, small river fish doesn't really have much space to be at, like especially that size of the fish. Like it needs a deeper water, it needs its ambush places to eat. So it was just underneath that log, probably in some hole, and just sitting and waiting just for the perfect moment. So therefore, because I've used so many lures at the different depth, the different speed, I was able to maximize my chances from that pool. So I got like 3 fish from the little pool, and it's not about inline spinner because the little swim bait had the job done twice. It's just about having a different presentation for the fish and just again maximizing your chances. And I might lose this little spinner here, and here's the trick. So if it hung up around the tree, your best bet is just have it stop wiggling back and forth and just quickly yank it, and you might get lucky and just if you keep reeling it and it's wiggling like on the seesaw, it might just wrap around the branch. But if you like have it like steady and then bring it really close and just yank it, we coming over to the last spot. And it's so shallow, and he just missed it. Oh, there you go. You again come back like this other one, like the other one I had. This is a smallmouth banzana. Look at that fish. Look at this beauty. We're gonna have him go as like others. We want to preserve this fishery. But look at that beauty. This broad drifted. We're gonna let him go. They have such a massive little jaws. This one, size. It was a nice size smallmouth. And there's another big rock over there where I was fishing the other day by using worms. Because 2 weeks ago, this place was totally different. Like I couldn't catch, I only caught 1 smallmouth, but today maybe they're postponed and they're hidden. I just had another hit just right there, so I'm trying to work this place really slowly before the rain hit. And I actually thinking that it's gonna start pouring pretty soon. I left my rain jacket at another place upstream, because this place is so secluded. I don't even expect anyone hiking here. Not only that to take my rain jacket, just didn't want to carry it, so we just hiding kind of on the side there. And I think spots like this is actually the ones they like sell the lures for you, meaning, you know, they know the fish is here. They're gonna just hit anything. You matter is just locate the fish. It's not about, you know, you know, having some special lure. As you see, they've been hitting everything. And here another great example of the spot. Faster moving water than a deeper pool. That's where you want to fish. And this thunderstorm is kind of freaking me out. I don't really want to get rain at heavily here, but there's still one more beautiful spot upstream over there. So one more spot. One more spot. Is getting dark, but we got what we wanted. I'm super excited. Well, I had like 5 nice fish for the last like 30 minutes. That's all I need. Like, that's really all I need. There's a little river, 5 nice bass, and I only spent like 2 hours now in this location. So here's another pool, like the first spot we stopped at. I show you my old video catching the bass. That's same idea, and this is my last stop usually. Sitting on the rock again, using worms because nothing was biting 2 weeks ago, and they usually can be right along this rock. So I'm just sweeping this. Oh, that was a nice fish actually. He went for it and it was a nice fish. Let me see if they want that again. Ooh. First one, let's swoop at the small. This was the first one that swooped at that, but not as big one of that last one. This wasn't even the biggest one. The biggest one is still up there. Okay, let me have him go. Go, baby, go. There's more fish to catch right there. Oh, look, again. Whoa, finally he's got it. Finally he's got it. And he's small. Oof. That were bigger ones, the swooping at it. Like, why they keep missing it? Like, I'm reeling it just so slow, painfully slow. That's a nice fish. Alright, that's a nice fish. That's a nice fish. Babe, stay there. Stay there. That's a nice fish right there. It's a nice fish. I'm not even gonna film him going back. Just started it. I better go. Little golden spinner gets the job done. And I'm having a good time. I'm a G, I'm the centerpiece. You can't settle me. I repeat, when my enemies tell them come and see, they retreat. I'm their water signs. So it gotten dark. My camera gotten foggy, and I'm making my way back. I think enough is enough. And I hope you enjoyed this session today. I feel kind of tired of my excitement. I hope that you like the episode. I tried to give my tips and tricks, little fishing rod, just hike a bit further than majority of the people can go. And it's not about lures. So that's the spot where we caught the nice ones. It was here, making my way back. It's like seriously thunderstormy, and it's a bit scary, but there's still some light in, but you know, time to make my way back. Hey, thank you for the fishing spot. We got those couple bass in. There's that rock where we caught everything. My camera is getting foggy. It's like seriously raining now, and thunderstorm is right above me. Probably is gonna bang really loud. I hope you enjoyed the session.